Start really quick, just high overview on the 2025 traveler. Who here is always tired? Yeah, me too. We're tired. So if in a nutshell we were to say, what is a 2025 traveler looking like? They're tired. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So Chris, go ahead.
No, I love it. That's great. And Ashley, thank you for putting us on after the bingo. I think hopefully it livened up the room. So awesome. Yeah, so we're here to talk a little bit about the 2025 traveler who is tired and a shift in expectations. And I am Chris Aragon. I'm with Atmosphere TV, as Donald just said. So I just said it again. I'm nervous. Let me roll with it. Okay, so quick high level about Atmosphere TV. As Donald mentioned, we are the country's largest streaming TV network for businesses, so brick and mortars. Think bars, restaurants, gyms, medical offices, things like that. Pretty much anywhere out of home that has a consumer-facing screen, we run streaming TV. Maybe you've heard of our flagship channel, Chive TV, and that's what most people know us for. And here on this slide, these are just a few of our wonderful DMO partners that we work with. And here's the agenda. We're going to run through a few things about the shift in data and content strategy, the melding of data and content, and really reaching folks, that traveler, in a more contextual way out of home. So Emily?
Yeah. So when I was first approached by Chris, I heard about them at TACVB, which is a Texas conference for convention and visitors bureaus. And the first thing I heard was Chive TV. I had heard of Chive. If you remember the Chive era, the KCCO, it was like a whole bro movement, but also the best tippers. If you worked in the restaurant industry back at that time, which I did, they had a platform called Chive. Very, very different now. It is not at all what it used to be. Chive now, when I heard about it, I didn't even honestly know that it was still relevant. And when I found out that you guys had a TV streaming platform on it, it did spark my curiosity in terms of, is this something that I could use for any kind of type of inspiration marketing? And so when we looked into Chive TV, I found out that this was a lot more than Chive. It was so many different things. Under the umbrella of Chive, there's something called Texas TV, or where it's just all these Texas DMOs can participate and put in their B-roll or put in anything about their destination. Atmosphere TV, I did not even realize that everywhere I was going, I was seeing it and not realizing that it was something that was always in where I was at a venue. And so when I looked into this, I was like, you know what, this is something that could potentially be added into the Inspire level of the marketing mix. I wanted to see what we could do with it because I found how customizable it could be. And so, oh, you have the clicker, thanks. And so in this, knowing that this is an in-venue type platform, yes, we talked recently about streaming television, but streaming TV on places that the person is not actually always at, in their own homes, they actually get to be at restaurants or in venues or in gyms or in hotels, in airlines. All of these places are places that you can actually captivate your audience in a different way that we haven't really done before. And so I approached my previous CEO about this. And of course, when I said the word Chive, it was like, what? No, what do you know? So I was like, well, I think we should do it, and this is why. And I wasn't the best person to tell him exactly. I was like, this is what we could be able to do. And so it was that same week that we were traveling to a conference, and when we got to the airport, we got delayed, and we're sitting at the airport and looking at the TVs, and lo and behold, there it is. And it was a quiz, like an interactive type quiz, and we were looking at it and watching the trivia and watching all of the things. I was like, wait a minute, see, so you do see it. So then when we finally get to the destination on the conference that we're attending, we go to a restaurant, and sure enough, this is true, it was on the TV. And so I was like, there it is again. And then later, I would say by day 3 of this conference, we're at a bar, and there it is again. So the amount of pinpoints of us getting getting in front of this was almost like it sold itself to me. So I was like, hey, I think that this is something that we could really use intentionally behind what we want to get our audience engaged to see. So, I mentioned that we're tired, right? Digital fatigue is real. The 2025 traveler is tired of being on social media all the time. They want escape. They want to find a way to get away from the digital noise. But for us as marketers, it's kind of difficult because we want to still be able to track them. We want to be able to target every niche audience that we have and be able to intentionally inspire them to travel to our destination. And so when I was using all of the trends and stats and looking into what I could do with this, I knew that I would be able to target those specific audiences in so many different ways. And so, travelers, they're craving disconnection. They want to go out, they want to go into a restaurant on a Thursday with their kids and their family and just say, I'm tired, I really want to just go to a restaurant, I'm not cooking tonight. I want to be able to relax. And so how do we capture that? We can. For Corpus Christi, Texas, our primary audience is millennials with small kids at home. We have, most of them are families. We want to target our drive markets. A lot of people are driving to the Texas coast in the state of Texas. And so we wanted to talk to them. So what we were able to do was we grabbed all the zip codes of our high target audiences and said, okay, I want only the suburban areas of these cities and these audiences. I want families. I want them, I want to target venues and restaurants, particularly with kid menus, family friendly, and let's do it on Thursday nights, maybe Friday nights, whenever, I don't know, what's Kids Eat Free Day? Like, let's do it on Kids Eat Free Day. So being able to get that granular with your targeting with those niche audiences was something that I found highly encouraging to be able to put into the marketing mix. And so being able to identify what venues do you want to use, what's the timing, who is your audience, and then of course identifying those markets was something that we found pretty great. And so for a coastal destination, we really want to get travel in those off-peak seasons. And so for us, that would be fall and winter. How do we want to inspire them? Probably early fall so that we can still capture audiences to also travel in the winter. And so we ran this campaign for roughly 4 months in fall of 2024. And so for our venue targeting, this is more of an example, but for us, we can target out of state, in state, wherever we'd like in these specific DMAs, these specific neighborhoods, audiences. And then, just to name a few of different venues that we were looking at restaurants. We didn't do bars yet, but we're looking at a sports campaign for the future on sports enthusiasts at sports bars. Gyms, airports, hotels, all these different spots can really help us customize what we were doing. And so for this initial run, we loved the idea of the trivia. So we started putting in trivia into this as almost like a passive way to engage with your audience while they're in this area of disconnection and not scrolling on their laptop. We are putting the inspiration in front of them. They don't have to work for it. They're not having to do anything on their part. They're probably enjoying a meal with their family, and then they say like, oh, look at this trivia. Or, if you're targeting your audience correctly, you'll be able to get them to get a little excited about something that they may or may not know about. And then also with this, not only did we add trivia into this, but there was a couple of commercial spots that we put in here. Most of these televisions do have the audio turned off, so take that into account. Like, what is it that's going to engage them where you don't have to have music playing or anything in the background, but give them something fun. So we repurposed a lot of our content. A lot of this that is in here is content that we've used in our just in our advertising on other platforms. So we took commercials, we took things that we already had, and this was almost like a recharge and relax campaign. So it integrated perfectly with the idea of the tired traveler, or they really just don't want to plan. They want itineraries coming to them. And so for us, inspiring them in some kind of trivia or just putting some kind of inspirational type video for them was what we're really trying to do here. Also, let me go back really quick. The mobile retargeting was also really cool because we were capturing the audiences in the specific venues, and with that, we were able to retarget them based on them being in that geolocation for a certain amount of time. And so getting to get them to be retargeted and then them go to our website, we were able to see, a little lift there in the time of the campaign duration. And so key metrics and results, again, this was about a 4-month campaign, fall of last year. We were able to get a 2.5 to 6.5 return, sorry, my voice, on our campaign lift. So it surpassed the benchmark of what we were actually planning for, and 7.6 million impressions, which I love to see that these are running, which we targeted over 300 venues for this campaign as well. So 300 venues for about 4 months led to this number of impressions, the mobile retargeting impressions, and just getting some measurable lift from this. We also were able to second-handedly see some lift from our Google search and our website visits. So also indicating some additional clicks to the website based on this campaign. And so all those things, I think that this can apply so much to so many DMOs and their initiatives because, one, you're putting something at the top funnel of your campaign. It's a nice media mix for getting people to engage with your destination marketing without having to be on a laptop or a phone or a tablet, or in their home. They can be out and about. So this is just that extra oomph on getting some kind of extra person to engage with your stuff and not have them do the planning or the work for it. And so it's very, we get to do so much different variations of this, and this was the first time we ran a campaign with Chris and Atmosphere, and I do see some potential in how we can do some additional stuff for sports marketing. If I want to just target dudes in bars during the playoffs or something, I'm gonna do it. You can do really cool stuff. And I think that's where I really enjoy having this part of the media mix and what we can do for our destination. Okay.
Yeah, no, we had a lot of fun with this. Thank you so much, Emily. The partnership was so great because, just real quick, when we started talking, I had been also going to a lot of the TACVB and TTA and DI conferences and just hearing the same thing, from marketers, which everybody just pushed so far down funnel and everything was noise and attribution and people were realizing that further up the funnel, just reaching people contextually, right? And more in that consideration phase, kind of more in that natural, kind of environment, was really just not really working for a lot of folks. And so when we started talking, we started talking about these screens, where it's reach folks kind of in their everyday lives, the goers, the doers, the spenders, the people who are actively out seeking entertainment and they're actively out traveling, so, kind of combining the data and the understanding of who you're looking for and where they are, but actually reaching them out and about, where they are, they're living their daily lives, they're going to the salon and the barber shop and they're going to get their car serviced, and we're cutting, it was helping kind of cut through the noise and create that kind of unique connection to that active traveler that you guys were looking for. So, that was what was really exciting about, working with you and kind of adding that to your mix and seeing, the success kind of really, take off because, like you said, it could be the sports enthusiasts, it could just be the families who are just, like you said, at dinner. It could be, your local foodies, right? You have your restaurant week and you have your festivals and your fairs and all the things that are really important to your DMO, reach those same people at other fairs and festivals out doing those kind of fun things. So that was a really cool part of, working together that I think really kind of resonated, and being able to just scale to any campaign, any budget size, to do whatever it is you need to do in a lot of great ways. But that contextual, authentic kind of, reaching that traveler. They're just out and about. They're not sitting at home.
Yeah, and I love that you can get really customized.
Yeah.
The trivia part, like, I don't know, I'm a trivia nerd. Like, I love to go to, like, the Geeks Who Drink and all that stuff. So it's fun when you're trying to just pass time. It's a very passive way to get some inspiration.
Absolutely. Did I miss anything here? Oh.
Cool. Well, we have 30 seconds. Does anyone have questions in the 30 seconds? Oh, it's going up. Oh, I think we passed time, right?
Did they give us time back?
It's going up.
Emily needs time. I don't need time.
All right.
No, I'm
well,
kidding.
thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.